We're so often taught that finance is like physics, right? A world of hard rules, formulas, and data. But what if that's completely wrong? Today, we're diving into Morgan Housel's incredible book, The Psychology of Money, which makes the case that financial success has way less to do with what you know and a whole lot more to do with how you behave. It's a soft skill where your personal history, your quirks, your emotions, they're not just part of the story, they are the story.
And to really get what he means, you just have to look at this tale of two fortunes. I mean, it's wild. On one side, you've got Ronald Reed, a janitor, a gas station attendant. No advanced degree, no fancy training. He just patiently saved what he could and invested in solid, blue-chip stocks. And when he died, he left an $8 million fortune to his local library and hospital. Then, on the other side, you have Richard Fuseli, Harvard-educated, a top executive at Merrill Lynch. The guy had everything going for him. But he borrowed heavily to live this huge, lavish lifestyle. And when the 2008 financial crisis hit, it all came crashing down. Bankruptcy.
Just think about that for a second. In what other field on earth can a total amateur with zero training just massively outperform a highly educated expert? It really makes you stop and wonder, if raw intelligence and a fancy education aren't what moves the needle, then what in the world is?
And that question leads us right to the first huge principle from the book, No One is Crazy. Now, this is such a powerful idea. It gets right to the core of why we make the financial decisions we do. It basically says that our personal histories create this totally unique set of biases that shape everything we do with money, often in ways we don't even see ourselves.
Housel frames this just perfectly. He writes, "Your personal experiences with money make up maybe 0.000000001% of what's happened in the world, but maybe 80% of how you think the world works." Whoa. In other words, that tiny, tiny slice of the world that we've personally seen, that becomes our entire mental model for how money works. It explains why we all do things that seem completely insane to other people, but make perfect, logical sense to us.
Let's make this real. Take inflation. If you were born in, say, 1960, you literally watched prices triple by the time you were in your late 20s. You learned from direct experience that your money loses value, and fast. But what if you were born in 1990? For pretty much your whole life, inflation has been a total non-issue. So your experience taught you a completely different, but equally logical lesson. See? Neither of you is crazy. You're just products of completely different histories.
And once you get that idea that we all see the world through our own unique lens, it leads right into our next principle, which is all about the emotional side of money. And this one is dangerous. It's the trap of more. This is all about that destructive force of social comparison, where the goalpost for success just keeps moving further and further away. So if we're talking about the emotions of money, let me ask you, what do you think is the single most powerful word in all of finance?
It's enough. And there's this incredible story about the authors Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller. They're at a party hosted by some billionaire. And Vonnegut points out that their host, the billionaire, made more money in a single day than Heller's masterpiece Catch-22 had made in its entire history. And Heller's response is just perfect. He says, "Yes, but I have something he will never have. Enough." Wow. Having a sense of enough is like a psychological superpower. It's a shield against making really, really bad decisions.
Because without that shield, you fall right into this trap, the goalpost that keeps moving. You know the feeling. It's when getting more money, more prestige, just ends up increasing your ambition faster than your satisfaction. That initial thrill of more fades, and suddenly you need an even bigger win just to feel the same. It is a dangerous, dangerous game, because the only way to keep up is to take bigger and bigger risks.
And history is just littered with brilliant people who lost this game. Rajat Gupta was the CEO of McKinsey, already worth $100 million, but he threw it all away chasing even more through insider trading. Bernie Madoff was already incredibly rich before he ever started his massive Ponzi scheme. And the Nobel Prize-winning geniuses at long-term capital management, they risked what they had and what they needed for something they didn't have and didn't need. They had absolutely no sense of enough.
Okay, so if this trap of more is so incredibly dangerous, how do we avoid it? Well, the key takeaway from Housel is to completely reframe your entire goal. It's not about being rich, it's about being wealthy. And as you're about to see, there is a massive difference between the two.
Let's break it down, nice and simple. Rich is what you see. It's current income. It's the fancy cars, the huge houses, the flashy vacation photos on Instagram. It is money that has been spent. Wealth, on the other hand, well, Wealth is hidden. It's income that is not spent. It's the savings, the investments, the financial assets sitting quietly in an account, giving you freedom and options for your future. Howells puts it so beautifully. He says, wealth is the nice cars not purchased. It's the diamonds not bought. Wealth is financial assets that haven't yet been converted into the stuff you see. True wealth is quiet. It's the power to wake up in the morning and say, you know what? I can do whatever I want today. That is the real goal. That's the real prize.
So when we bring all this together, we land on the ultimate conclusion. It is all about playing your own game. Once you truly understand that your own view of the world is unique and that the social comparison trap of more is a game you can't win, you can finally focus on what actually matters. Your own psychology, your own history, and most importantly, your own definition of enough.
So the real keys to success? They're not some complex formulas. They're behavioral. It's about being reasonable, not coldly rational. Because let's face it, you're a human, not a spreadsheet. It's about embracing room for error in your plans, because the future is always going to surprise you. It means defining your own goals and your own time horizon so you're not getting sucked into what other people are doing. It's about saving, just for the sake of saving, because the biggest return you can get on your money is flexibility. And finally, it's about suppressing your ego to build your wealth.
And all of that leaves us with one final, absolutely critical question we have to ask ourselves. When it comes to your money, and really your life, are you playing to win your game, or are you just caught up trying to win someone else's?